Dana White, the president of the UFC, came to see Conor McGregor perform, and Conor, being Conor, won the fight and showboated like a child winning a prize at the fair. Dana saw potential in him, so he signed him with a short contract. Now that Conor McGregor was signed with the UFC, he was guaranteed to make more money than any plumber would, so he quit his job to train full-time. On April 6, 2013, McGregor made his UFC debut against Marcus Brimage. Marcus was knocked out in the first round, and Conor was awarded $60,000. Just earlier that week, he received a welfare check for $150. Now he made most people's salaries in one night. Conor had definitely put his name on the map, and he didn't just retire after that one fight. He kept fighting and knocking out his opponents, and eventually earned himself a featherweight division fight against Jose Aldo, who was undefeated prior for a decade, according to the UFC. Conor knocked his lights out in 13 seconds into the first round. However, winning one belt wasn't good enough for Conor. He dreamt of having two belts, one on each shoulder, and in the UFC 205, he had his chance to make history again. He was fighting Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight championship. Eddie wasn't that big of a fighter. He was an easy target for Conor, and after all the trash talk, Eddie became a thing of the past, and he was put to sleep by the demigod's haymakers. The Irishman was the first fighter in UFC history to hold two titles in two different weight divisions at the same time. After achieving all that's possible in the UFC, Conor was in his prime and seemed invincible. Everyone in the fighting industry, except one man, Money Mayweather. Conor felt threatened and began beefing with the 49-0 champ, saying that he could knock him out at his own game, according to Showtime. Soon the fight was scheduled for August 26, 2017. Conor, he was good at three things. He could sell a fight, he could take out people, and he could get in their head mentally. And Conor's biggest line at the fight was, "Why are you carrying a school bag? You can't even read." And the crowd went wild, and they began chanting, "F the Mayweathers." And soon, Conor's biggest night of his life came. And in the early rounds, he struggled to knock out Mayweather like he promised. And he wasn't used to the later rounds in boxing. And so when round 10 finally came, the Notorious was TKO'd, and the hype train came to an end. Both showed great sportsmanship after the fight, celebrating that they'll never have to work another day in their life again. However, life wasn't over for Conor after that fight. He recently became a fast food celebrity by being sponsored by Burger King, and he was in a commercial with the king himself eating a burger on a private jet. But soon things took a turn for the worse when he found out a group of fighters was making fun of him and his training crew. And so he bought 30 meatheads to break into the press conference and chuck chairs at them. Conor was eventually arrested and hasn't had any punishment yet by the UFC. But just because he has fallen from grace, that doesn't. Conor will be remembered as the best UFC fighter of our generation.